Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be learning how to do ombre acrylics at home. As always, if you love my video, please subscribe below. If you have questions or comments, please leave a comment below for me. I love to read you all's comments, and if you have any requests for any future tutorials, let me know. I am taking requests and I love to show you guys new stuff. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is, as y'all can see, I've got acrylic nails already on. I am missing 2 of them, but I'm just going to file them down. If you don't have acrylic nails, you don't have to file them down like this. You can just skip this step. But first I'm going to file them down so that they're pretty thin. You don't want them too thin so that you're filing away your natural nail. But just file them so that you can put a good amount of acrylic on top of it. Sorry guys, I kind of went out of camera there for the filing, but you got the picture. The next thing we're going to do is push back the cuticle. You want to make sure to get all of it, I use a metal cuticle pusher because I feel like it's a little bit better. Your cuticles are really waxy, so you want to make sure you get that waxy strip off and make sure that you're getting them pushed back so that they're not in the way and they're not going to cause lifting for your acrylics. If you skip this step, you will probably notice that you're lifting and you get a sort of gap up around where your finger and your fingernail meet. That's because the cuticle gets under there and it pulls air underneath your acrylic, and that's not what anybody wants. So just make sure y'all push your cuticles back. So the next thing we're going to do is just take the file and file around where the cuticle was to make sure to get the rest of the waxy residue and to make sure you've got a rougher surface to adhere to. I'm using a drill on the lowest setting, but you guys can also use a handheld file if that makes you feel more comfortable. But again, if you do use a drill, use it on the lowest speed setting, please. Next, I'm going to apply a nail form for the 2 fingernails that I do not have acrylic on. They actually broke off and they broke my natural nail with it. So I'm going to use a nail form. I'll actually link another video of this separately so you can kind of get a better idea of how to apply these. I'll link that below, but for now I'm just putting on the nail form and we'll use that whenever we apply the acrylics. All right, now that I've got that all situated, I'm going to set up my workstation here. I've got my little dapping dish and I have my acrylic. You can see that I have mixed in glitter in with my clear acrylic. That's just a personal preference. Of course, you can buy already colored, but I really like the glitter. I use Mia Secrets. Like I said, the clear, that's what this is, and the liquid, I use that as well. These are the glitters that I mixed in with my clear. As you can see, there's nothing special about them. They're just regular old glitter. Next, we're going to move on to primer. This is an important step. You don't have to apply it to the pre-existing acrylic nail on your nail, but it does need to be applied on the natural nail. I do 2 layers on each hand just to make sure it's really got a good primer on there, and then you wait for it to dry about a minute. Next, I'm going to be gathering the ball of acrylic. I'll show you guys in another video how to do this, a little closer up view, in case you're not sure how to do that. You just pick up your ball and you set it on your finger make sure that when you do it, you want to keep your brush dry. I'm sorry, you want to keep your brush clean. So you want to wipe often and then re-dip it in the liquid to make sure that your brush is staying clean. Also, you don't want to spread it. It's not painting, guys. So you just want to tap it into place as if you're molding some clay. You just want to slightly mold it. Right here I am dragging it down, almost like I'm painting, and that is just so the ombre effect takes place right through that middle section. You want to kind of drag it back a little bit, and we'll do the same with the pink on the top. We'll drag it the other direction, but you want to shape it the way that you want by just pat, pat, pat. Guys, don't be trying to smear it or anything like that. Just patting is your friend. Just keep patting it. And like I said, keep wiping your brush and dipping it in the liquid if you need to. You don't want your brush full of acrylic. It's not going to work as well. Once you get your nail the way that you want it to and shaped the right way, then you just move on to the other 4 nails. You can see I just dropped a ball of acrylic. It's not a big deal. You just wipe it off on your napkin and keep working. So we're going to do all 4 of the other fingers. And you can see I'm doing the nail forms first. It's just a preference thing as far as my preferences go. You can do them in order from pinky to thumb. You can do them like I do them, just kind of random, or any order that makes you feel comfortable. You just put on the acrylic, remember just to the tip area, because we're not doing up closer to the top of the fingernail yet, because we are going to be doing an ombre. So you just want to pat on your blue sparkle acrylic down on your tip so it looks great. You want to remember to drag backwards so that the ombre effect does take place. And again, guys, just pat it. No need for smearing or dragging, just pat it. And once it takes shape and it's the way you want it, then you move on to the next nail. All right, now that we're all done with the tips, we're going to move right into the pink. As you can see, it's the same process. You dip it in your monomer, you dip it in your powder, and then you apply. You want to get it pretty close to the cuticle, but make sure, guys, you do not touch the cuticle. I can't tell you that enough. If you get it too close and it ends up touching your cuticle or your finger, it's going to look bad after just a couple of days, maybe even immediately. Sometimes you can't tell right away, but once it grows out, you'll definitely be able to tell, and that's not what you want. So it's better to be slightly further away than it is slightly too close. Just keep that in mind on your first few times of trying this at home. Also, if you feel like you've got it too close, or if you want to round out the edge, you just wet your brush and you swipe around the edges, just like that. You swipe around the edges and you paint it. Make sure your brush is nice and wet. Again, you can't have it all full of acrylic. That'll bog it down. Acrylic sticks to acrylic, guys. So if you've got a bunch of acrylic in your brush, it's not going to paint very smoothly. You're not going to be able to work it very well. It's going to want to stick to your brush. It's not going to be good. So just make sure your brush is staying clean. And like I said, you always swipe around the edges to make sure it's not touching your finger, not touching your cuticle. I know we push those back, but sometimes they're still there. You just want to make it nice and even. When you've got everything where you want it to go, just kind of wet your brush. Not too wet, but kind of wet your brush and just swipe over it like a top coat just to make sure that everything is perfectly into place. Now I'm going to be removing my nail forms. They're real easy to get off. And as you can see, well, I tapped on my fingernails. If you can hear the clicking noise, then that means they are dry. If you cannot, and it sounds real soft or doesn't make much of a sound at all, then the acrylic is still wet. That's kind of how you check. So we're just going to go ahead and move on to the other hand. We're going to do it in the same way that we did the first hand. We're going to put on the tip first. We're going to paint on the blue. Remember, pat it into place and then just slightly drag it upwards so that the ombre effect will be there. And we're going to do all 5 of those fingers, and then we're going to move right into doing the pink, and we'll go on from there. All right, we've got our acrylic done. Now I'm going to go right into using a manual nail file and just file around the sides. Sometimes, especially on those fingers that I use a nail form, you might have a slightly different shape than what you were hoping for. Just shape them right up with the nail file, just like you do your natural nails. Just shape them. You want to file the ends of them to make sure it's a straight line so they look beautiful. And of course you file the sides. We'll file the top with the electric file later. And now we've got our electric file back out. We're just going to make sure these have the perfect shape. So we're going to go around the edge of the nail with our electric file there's usually a slight groove between your nail and your finger. You want to kind of rest it right in that groove so that you're not nicking your finger, but you're pretty close to the top of the acrylic. And you want to get it through that groove there, and then you just want to file all over the top. Make sure it's nice and smooth, there's no bumps or lumps, and make sure that it's all even coating. So sometimes with acrylics, even when you're used to doing them, you know, you get a little bit thicker in one spot than on the other, especially if there's glitter in the mix. So you just want to kind of even that out and smooth everything down. You want to make sure, like I said, do all your nails. We're going to do them all the same way. File around the side edges of your fingers and on the sides of your fingers, and then just smooth it out on the top. Sorry I went out of camera there, guys. I realized I was out of camera and brought it back in, but now we're already to the other hand. So just hang in there with me. We did the same to every finger. Sorry, I pulled it out of camera. I'll try to work on that for next time. All right, we're all finished with the filing. As you can see, I dusted off my fingers, and now I'm just using a UV cured top coat. So I'm going to paint those on. I prefer this top coat versus a regular top coat only because it's like glass, guys. It is the perfect amount of shine. It's absolutely gorgeous and it lasts forever. So if you guys don't have this at home, that's fine. You can use a regular top coat too that doesn't need a light to cure it. This is just what I have at home, so this is what I do. And then once we get them all painted, we'll just stick them right in the light, and then we'll do the same to the other hand too. All right, now that that's cured, we're going to take a lint-free cloth and we're going to drench it in alcohol. We're going to rub off all that sticky top coat layer. They do have no wipe top coat, but that's not what I have, so I've got to wipe mine off. And once you've wiped it off with alcohol, then you're left with perfect shining nails. They look like they've been painted in glass. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. If you loved it, please subscribe so you're not missing out on future videos. I will be linking a few other small videos to go along with this, so be on the lookout for those. Also, if you have any questions, leave them for me in the comments below. I'd love to help you answer those. And if you've got video requests, leave them for me too. I'd love to show you guys how to do some new stuff. Thanks guys, and we'll see you next time.